And this is Kimba Colley with WSQL 1240 News, and I am in the studio this morning with Michael Chufin and Susan Evans, and they are going to update us on the Vision Brevard, the Imagine Brevard. Who wants to start, Susan, Michael?
Well, as you'll remember, on August 20th, we had the Imagine Brevard grand opening, and some 163 people showed up with over 600 ideas. We whittled those down to 7 core areas, and so the meetings for those areas are coming up. 7 great areas,
right?
Which Susan will kind of go through. But really what's happening, Kimba, is people are showing up. Great ideas. I mean, we had 600 individual ideas kind of knocked down to the 7 areas.
Right.
But I'll tell you, the enthusiasm, people love this community.
Yep.
They want to be here. And what you're finding out is that people are learning, they're educating, and they are beginning to want to take action. There was a group Sunday, and Susan will tell you about that as well, but these are teen kids who are off doing things.
Right.
And it's really exciting. So what I think we've created is really a space that people for a few weeks can come in and really offer up ideas. And my assessment is that Brevard is ready, coming back to the beginning, that people are engaged, and what we're really doing is updating the newer arrivals here into the community, the history, the Focus 2020s, and everything that's going on, and getting them ready to be a part of the community and the discussion, and I think it's going very, very well.
I think that's wonderful, because me being a new resident of Brevard,
right,
as of last year, back in May, and so all of this is all brand new to me. I'm learning all kinds of new things about the community, and I want to be part of the community as well.
Well, you don't have to watch the conversation, you can participate in it.
Right.
So people are bringing downtown master plans, people bring in documents and talking about it, and people are learning a lot. I mean, you're seeing people go, really? I didn't understand, or why doesn't this happen?
Right.
And so they're people who they call themselves the lifers, who have been here a long time, who are giving that background. So what we're really doing is sort of getting those who are newer, and there's a good amount of new people in here who want to stay, who are interested, but they've really had no place to go to learn.
Sure.
And now the groups are sort of self-teaching themselves, so the conversations that come out are really an affirmation of what's been planned for 20 years. The principles are correct.
Yes.
But now they're getting up to date. They're getting sort of, people who've been with it for a long time have sort of said, okay. Now there's a group who's energetic. They're taking those principles and they're wanting to move them forward.
Well, sounds like
but part of that is that they came up with these principles on their own. They looked at everything that got put up on the boards. They had these conversations on their own without even knowing the master plan was there.
Right.
And came up with so many of the same ideas. So it's just an affirmation. I mean, it is really an affirmation that what's out there is right.
It just seems the vision that I see is what you talk about all the time, Michael, which is a baton has been passed.
And it's really, what's good is, out of all of this process, and we've been in a lot of hours and a lot of meetings, there's really nothing that's bubbling up that's undoable, not forget, again, I think it's more of the band is getting back together.
Yeah,
and
yes.
to play. And so there are people who were the original members of the band, and there's some who are the new drummers and stuff, but I just kind of made that up. But we're in a music place. But but really what's happening is that the band is getting back together with its members and getting ready to play. And some play a little different styles, but ultimately I've not seen anything that is a showstopper to the community wanting it to realize to be the community that it wants to be.
Well, and I'll agree with that. And I think the biggest thing for me this week was Sunday when the youth met. And they had that moment. And, they were kind of talking and trying to be engaged, but weren't sure how to do things.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, the light went off in like 5 eyes. That, oh my gosh, I can do something.
Right.
I can actually make something happen. And they just got so electric.
Right.
So they're planning an event. They're meeting again next Sunday at 3, and they're getting their Facebook friends involved. They're getting everybody really jazzed about it. They're going to Asheville to see if they can get some teen-focused businesses to come sponsor things.
Sure.
What they put up on the wall was, one of the things was, there are no teen clothing stores in town. Now there's stores that sell teen stuff, but sort of the mall cool stuff that they're used to, that environment, they said there wasn't one. I didn't know that, but and so the question came up is, well, why aren't they here, and why can't we have them? And they went, well, yeah, and girl power sort of a deal from that group, but they said, let's have an event, let's bring them here, show them what a town we are, and what about a bunch of proactive teens, 13, 14 years old, saying, come to Brevard. I mean, what better economic developers can you have? Because, you know, if they come here, they do the show, and they show their wares, and then somebody gets a store, do you think they'll all be fired up about that?
Oh, sure.
And so now I have 13 and 14-year-old girls, and a guy or two, sitting there going, wow, we can do that. So they're planning an event. They want to plan an evening with a fashion show. They want to do all sorts of things.
How fun is that?
And they're on fire. I mean, they're calling me going, we need a letter that says, you know, and we said, we're all behind you.
Right,
so, so, you know, let them go, let them run. That's the baton story.
Right.
They got the baton where they were in life,
right.
and they're going forward. And how wonderful if several stores, they're off to the malls in Asheville to say, hey, come be in Brevard. If I were an entrepreneur, I'd want to come see what Brevard had to offer.
Absolutely.
Doing that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so great. It's just, it's that moment, and we're seeing it in the adults too, is that moment where that realization comes that you can really do something,
sure.
that you have an effect, and that a small group of people or a large group of people, if they're committed, can make a change or can make their voices heard in a positive way. And
absolutely.
So many other things came out of, we love it here. We love it here. It's beautiful. It's, what was it? Small,
Bury me in Brevard.
Bury me in Brevard,
Oh,
because
small,
I'm never leaving.
Small is beautiful.
Small is
right.
beautiful. And one of the things that came out last night was, you know, how can we get people to pay attention to Brevard or see Brevard when we don't see it?
Exactly. Wow.
And,
yes.
And so that was like, that took everybody in an aha moment, and how
absolutely.
are we going to get that message out there? So much of it is, how do we consolidate that message into one thing? And that came up in the one-stop shop.
Right.
How do we get it out there? What is the message? And we kind of keep hearing that we've got it all. We've just got to show people we have it all. And how are we going to show people we have it all to bring them here?
Isn't there kind of a little bit of a fear, though, because, you know, we've got this gem, this beautiful gem here, and the more that you show it to people, the more people are going to want to see it. And so then suddenly that gem isn't so shiny anymore. Is there a little bit of fear of that?
So there is. It's been stated. People who have come in say, close the door behind me.
Right.
We're done.
Right.
And the key here, the wonderful part is it's time to be thoughtful. And I don't know that 15 years ago or 10 years ago that the world was in the place to do that. You know, we have a blank canvas here, which is really wonderful. And we don't want to be Branson, Missouri. Okay, we don't want to screw it up. We don't need hundreds of thousands of people coming in here like it's a tourist. You know, like it's Disney World.
Right.
We really just need to be, rather than tactical where Brevard has been, we're getting strategic. And so I think everything done thoughtfully through a process and what's there really gives us the chance to throttle up and throttle down. You know, 10% improvement's great, and it doesn't mess things up. Does 30, does 50? I think there really is a convergence of discussions that says what's right, and that we're in control, meaning our own space where we live, as opposed to at the control of any external factors.
Right.
We really, it's about getting better, not about fixing.
Right. Right. Awesome.
I would agree with that. And I think nobody really wants to change Brevard. I didn't hear that there was a lot of change. We have so much that's great. We just need to show it to people so they think it's as great as we do. And we do, that small is beautiful kept coming up.
Great.
And how to bring more people in, how to bring, a lot of focus went to that 18 to 30 range.
Sure, yep.
How do we get them engaged? We had one young lady, Kelley, last night, I'm not sure how, she's in her 20s, but really focused on how do you get the message out to her. You know, she's looking for apps on her phone. She was talking about having all these different Gatlinburg apps on her phone.
Right.
How do we get that message to those people? We're missing that whole demographic completely.
And that's why having those people at those types of people at the meetings, they can let you know, okay, well, in order for me to learn something, this is what I need to have.
Right. So what's the action? What happens is that these conversations are going well. The county is doing their visioning process, which I think is healthy, and they're moving along well.
Right.
We're doing ours towards a plan. The city's engaged in all that. So what I really believe is that in fourth quarter, you'll really see this stuff turn into something viable and for real. So I'm really very peaceful and pleased about it all.
Well, what I've been doing is I've been letting everyone know when your meetings are happening, so that you know, it's on my community calendar, and I've been putting it in my newscast, keeping people updated on that, and I have let them know when your next meetings are coming up today.
Right.
So we've got that. So I'm going to need that from you all, to continue to put that out there.
People are listening to you. I mean, people listen to us. I mean, we're getting that feedback all the time. So the squirrel has been a critical piece of this whole play.
We did ask people how they got to the meeting.
Right.
And White Squirrel came up, the radio,
right.
the Transylvania Times, the website. It was all, so the message is getting out there.
Excellent, excellent. Well, so how do people get in touch with you guys and find out what meetings are coming up in the event they don't listen to the radio?
Really go to brevardisready.com and sign up and start joining groups.
Okay.
The Heart of Brevard Facebook page. Transylvania Times has all their calendar. You guys are putting it out there. So the bottom line is brevardisready.com or imaginebrevard.com. That's really the place to get the info. But come participate in a meeting. Come watch the discussion. They never are the same, and they're always interesting.
And if you can't make it, go on the website and make your comments heard. All the comments there's a flowing comment stream on each of these groups. Make your comment. If you can't make it, you can still get involved.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you guys very much for coming down to the station.
Thank
Let everybody know.
You guys are great.
All right, great. This is Kimba Colley with WSQL 1240, and we'll be going back to regular programming.